That mid-afternoon brain fog hits, and suddenly coffee feels like the only answer. But what if there's a smarter way to power your brain without the jitters and crash? Creatine isn't just for muscles. It actually helps fuel your brain's energy system, supporting focus and mental clarity. So how does it compare to caffeine? And could it upgrade your daily productivity routine? Let's break it down. Creatine helps regenerate ATP in the brain, providing a steady source of mental energy, unlike caffeine's temporary stimulation. Think of ATP as your brain's fuel currency, the thing every neuron uses to fire signals, process information, and keep you mentally sharp. Creatine works by helping recycle ATP more efficiently, which means your brain cells can keep working at a higher level for longer periods without burning out. Caffeine, on the other hand, doesn't actually give you more energy. It just blocks adenosine, the chemical that makes you feel tired, so you feel more alert, temporarily. That's why caffeine can feel like a boost at first, but often leads to a crash later. With creatine, the effect is more subtle but more stable, like upgrading your brain's battery instead of just turning up the brightness. For example, if you're studying for hours, working on a complex task, or dealing with mental fatigue, creatine can help sustain performance instead of giving you a short-lived spike. A practical way to use this is by taking a consistent daily dose, usually around 3 to 5 grams, rather than expecting an instant effect like coffee. Over time, you may notice improved mental endurance, better focus during long tasks, and less reliance on repeated caffeine hits throughout the day. Creatine supports cognitive performance under stress and sleep deprivation better than caffeine alone. When you're low on sleep or under heavy mental stress, your brain's energy demands go up, while its ability to meet those demands goes down. That's where creatine becomes especially valuable, because it helps maintain cellular energy even when your system is strained. Caffeine might make you feel more awake in these situations, but it doesn't fix the underlying energy deficit, which is why you can still feel foggy, irritable, or unfocused despite drinking multiple cups of coffee. Research has shown that creatine supplementation can improve tasks involving memory, reasoning, and mental processing speed, particularly when you're sleep-deprived. Imagine pulling a late night before an exam, or working through a demanding deadline. Caffeine might keep your eyes open, but creatine helps your brain actually function better. A useful approach is to think of creatine as a foundation and caffeine as an optional tool on top. Instead of relying solely on stimulants, you're supporting your brain's resilience so it performs better even when conditions aren't ideal. This can make a noticeable difference in high-pressure situations, where consistent mental clarity matters more than short bursts of alertness. Unlike caffeine, creatine does not disrupt sleep, allowing better long-term brain recovery and productivity. One of the biggest downsides of caffeine is how easily it interferes with sleep, especially if consumed later in the day. Even if you fall asleep, caffeine can reduce sleep quality, meaning your brain doesn't fully recover overnight. That creates a cycle where you feel more tired the next day and depend even more on caffeine to function. Creatine doesn't have this problem because it's not a stimulant. It doesn't push your nervous system into overdrive or keep you wired at night. This makes it much more compatible with healthy sleep patterns, which are critical for memory consolidation, emotional regulation, and overall cognitive performance. Think about it this way. The best productivity strategy isn't just about pushing harder during the day, it's about recovering properly at night. By supporting energy production without interfering with sleep, creatine helps you break the cycle of overstimulation and fatigue. A practical tip is to be mindful of your caffeine timing, ideally limiting it to earlier in the day, while using creatine consistently regardless of time. Over weeks, this combination can lead to better sleep quality, more stable energy levels, and improved mental clarity throughout the day. Creatine may enhance working memory and reasoning skills, while caffeine mainly boosts alertness. It's important to understand that feeling alert and actually thinking better are not the same thing. Caffeine excels at making you feel awake, reducing reaction time, and increasing vigilance, which is useful for simple or repetitive tasks. But when it comes to deeper cognitive functions like solving problems, holding multiple pieces of information in your mind, or making complex decisions, creatine appears to offer unique benefits. By improving the brain's energy availability, Creatine supports processes like working memory and fluid intelligence, especially in demanding situations. For instance, if you're learning something new, analyzing data, or trying to stay mentally organized during a busy day, creatine can help your brain keep up with those demands. This doesn't mean caffeine is useless, it just means it plays a different role. You can think of caffeine as turning on the lights, while creatine helps power the entire system. If your goal is deeper focus and better cognitive performance rather than just staying awake, adding creatine to your routine may provide a more meaningful improvement. Over time, this can translate into better productivity, clearer thinking, and less mental fatigue when tackling complex tasks. Creatine provides consistent energy without the jitters, crashes, or dependency associated with caffeine. Many people rely heavily on caffeine throughout the day, but that often comes with downsides like anxiety, shaky hands, heart palpitations, and the familiar crash when the effects wear off. Over time, you may also build a tolerance, needing more and more caffeine to get the same effect, which can lead to a cycle that's hard to break. Creatine works very differently because it doesn't stimulate your nervous system. It simply supports your body's natural energy production. That means no sudden spikes, no sharp drops, and no withdrawal symptoms if you skip a day. The result is a more stable and predictable level of mental energy. Imagine going through your day without needing that second or third cup of coffee just to feel normal. That's the kind of consistency creatine can help support. A practical approach is to gradually reduce excessive caffeine intake while introducing creatine as a daily habit. This can help smooth out your energy levels, reduce dependence on stimulants, and create a more sustainable productivity routine. Over time, many people find they feel calmer, more focused, and less reliant on quick fixes to get through the day.